Good morning. Joe Scorese, co-founder, co-host of the Creative BRRRR Strategies Podcast. Really glad celebrating our second plus year in our podcast on creativebrrrstrategies.com. You can find us on Spotify, Audible, Amazon, Facebook, YouTube. Really excited about going into our 150th plus episode, 15,000 downloads so far. And we provide education, networking, and strategy in real estate for professionals, for agents, for investors, bringing insight for different subjects that I feel that are really keeping our fingers on the pulse. Today we have Ashley Williams. I met Ashley at the South Jersey Real Estate Investors Group. She's the founder of the Smart Property Automation Consultant with Serenity Smart Homes. Thanks for coming out this morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Great. So why don't you give me a little background on Serenity Smart Homes, and then we'll dive into some of the questions we put together. Is like, who really owns smart homes and why the future of residential automation is going to be local and hopefully subscription free and built to last.
Yes, absolutely. So again, my name is Ashley Williams. I'm the owner, founder, operator of Serenity Smart Homes, where we specialize in subscription free, privacy first, smart homes and smart home automation. So to your question, Joe, around just what does it mean to own your smart home? What does this look like going forward? I'll give you a couple of examples of what it looks like when you don't own your smart home. So as an example, there's a brand, Belkin, who had a line of smart home devices. Those devices, in order to properly operate, needed to talk to Belkin servers. I guess somewhere down the line, Belkin decided, you know what? For whatever reason, we're not operating these servers anymore. We're gonna put out a press release, tell the world we're not doing this anymore. Anybody who still has Belkin Wemo devices that are required to talk to these servers, you're out of luck. Your devices don't work anymore. Okay. Buy new ones. And so that's one example of how you don't own your smart home, because you would expect that once you purchase something, you've exchanged your hard-earned money for this good. You would think this good belongs to you. But in a lot of the smart home world, a lot of the devices, so this is gonna be, say, your cameras, this is going to be even some of your smart appliances. Some of the smart features in your car are often tied to some sort of paywall or subscription. And I just feel like, what's the sense in renting something that you think you bought from a smart home perspective?
So most people think smart homes are about convenience, but you're framing it around control and ownership. What's broken in the current model?
Yeah, so yeah, you're very right. People really go for it from like a convenience perspective. Oh, this will make my life easier. But when you purchase devices and then tie them to an app, for example, the app wants your username and your password. That app is now living on your phone, where it may or may not be collecting usage data, information about how you're moving in and around the world. And so we're basically trading convenience for giving your data up to companies that may use it for nefarious purposes. And so at that point, if you're not in control of your data, I think you're just not in control of your home, your technology at that particular point.
So a lot of big tech platforms rely on subscriptions and cloud control. And then what risks does that create for homeowners and investors?
Yeah, so the risk that creates is when your technology is dependent on these companies and these servers to work. At this point, you're at the whim of the decision making of these particular companies. So I gave the example of Belkin Wemo before. A couple months ago, I think in the fall, Amazon Web Services had a massive outage that took out a ton of different online SaaS-based subscription services, in addition to some people's smart home devices. And so you have this illusion of control of your technology, but as long as it's a requirement for that technology to talk to the company servers, the company is in control. Amazon, Belkin, Google, whoever else can decide, oh, you know what, it's not in our best financial interest to keep running these services, so we're gonna shut them down. Do they give consumers refunds or any such thing for those devices that don't work anymore? The answer is no. So this is something I'm passionate about, also from the privacy perspective of, my phone tracks me enough. I don't need the rest of my house tracking me, right?
That's interesting. So where do you see the biggest mistakes with real estate investors when integrating smart home technology into their properties?
Yeah, so I think with real estate investors, and honestly, I think the population, I don't think this is just specific to real estate investors, but for real estate investors, I think people get caught by that kind of convenience trap. So they see like, oh, a standalone Ring camera, let me go pick that up and install it. All right, I signed up on Ring's app, gave them my username, password. I can see remotely what I need to see on the camera, so on and so forth. Great. Okay, all right, now I've got a vacation rental. I need to put some locks on. All right, let me go find some August locks.
Yeah, but they don't tie it together.
Exactly.
So like, okay, so walk me through, I buy a single family row, let's just keep it simple.
Okay.
If I want to make this all smart technology all the way through, what am I doing?
If you want to make it smart technology all the way through,
Cost effectively,
I am going to recommend a couple of big open source smart home platforms that are centered on subscription-free, privacy first. If you're working with me on something like this, we're going to explore setting up devices that talk to a singular hub that lives within your property. And the only place the data from these devices are going is to this hub that lives in this property. So we know that the data isn't going to these different companies for...
So I'm doing a full gut to the studs or a mild renovation to medium renovation on a property, and I want to include this as part of my expense, right, as a value add to the asset.
Yes.
So what is a line item for smart technology for, say, the single family? I'm going to stick it to the single family row. We could always talk about a 5+ unit. That's fine. That's a whole different thing. That's 5 doors. Let's talk about the 1 door. What is that line on an expense conservatively to a single family row? Or am I adding $2,500? Am I adding $5,000? Am I adding $10,000? Like, what am I looking at? And how, what is that? Is that enhancing any value to the property as well?
Yeah. So you can be looking at anywhere from, say, a couple $100s to, I would say, maybe $3,000, $3,500.
That's the worst case.
On the higher
That's
end.
a Class B plus a unit to a Class C affordable housing type of environment.
Yes.
So you're saying anywhere, let's just use worst case numbers, $500 to $3,000 would be my expense.
Yes.
In my line item for my construction budget. Hey, I got to add these. This is what I'm adding, breaking down that $500, or am I breaking down that $3,000 or $1,500, depending on the classification of the asset.
That's right.
Okay, so that makes more sense to me, because I'm like, okay, how am I kind of tying that in? So from an investor standpoint, how should we look at this smart home tech? As an expense, an amenity, value add asset, or all the above? I'm thinking.
I would say probably a little bit of all of the above. There is going to be not even the amenity or the value add, but almost like the preventive. So one of the things that we really focus on is the water leak protection piece of things. So that's going to be things like leak sensors and auto shutoff valves, so that if, let's say, like a toilet is running too long, you can get an alert for the toilet's just been running, like...
So it ties into utilities.
So yeah, we can get it to tie into those utilities. and we focus on the water leak protection piece of it because the buy-in cost is relatively low with respect to the risk of dealing with a leak and all the remediation that can come with an event like that.
See, I feel like the short-term and the mid-term rental market already is light years ahead of the single-family operator for smart technology. And why is that? Like, why are they so far ahead? Is that because of the ongoing in and out of a warm body coming in and out of their unit?
Say that question for me one
So
more
like
time.
you have a short-term rental, you have a mid-term rental. There's a lot more people coming in and out, more of a transient environment. Why are they so far ahead than the real estate investor on the single-family row home for the long-term rental? Like why are they like the rabbit in the situation? You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
No, I understand now. So if you're looking at, so for short-term rentals, so like your Airbnb or your long-term.
They're wired up. They're wired up.
Probably, I would argue probably really good marketing from August, like the August locks, say in like 2016, 2017, 2018, where you can get these smart locks, you can remotely change the codes. It's easy to be able to enable tenants, like short-term tenants, mid-term tenants to come and go without you as the investor or landlord having to constantly show up. And then the control that you get with the smart locks enables the cleaning folks to come in and out, and you can keep track of that. So I would suspect that was kind of the entry point.
That was the whole thing right from the beginning. Like you had to be smart related to all for short-term rental. Like my wife and I stayed at one. It was in Newark, New Jersey, near Penn Station. So Penn Station, I think the hotel was like $250, and this short-term rental was like $110. And if we paid extra X amount of dollars, we got exclusive bathroom.
Okay.
We didn't have a shared bathroom. It was really, like very unique. But then there's other people moving in and out. But it was, I didn't talk to anybody. It was all automated through. I was in, the door unlocked, the bathroom unlocked based on a certain code. It was extremely convenient for us. I'll never forget that experience.
Yeah.
It was unique because just the cost benefit of staying right near the same Penn Station was over $125 difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I've stayed in Airbnbs where, I don't have to wait for the owner to show up to do like a key handoff.
Yeah.
They just say, here's the code or download this app, and then, the Bluetooth works, like from your phone to the lock, you can unlock it. And so I think after a certain point, guests and tenants, that started being an expectation of, I think in 2026, if I'm going to stay in an Airbnb or a short-term rental and somebody says, oh, I got to meet you at 2:30 to do a key handoff, I'm going to look at them like, it's 2026, get with it.
Well, yeah, and I think the long-term rental landlord is just behind.
It's just, yeah.
And that's why that's how we met at the RIA. You're trying to identify the long-term rental players to understand, or the flippers.
Or the flippers.
To add that as an amenity on the sale.
Or even for the flippers, just having some level of being able to monitor the space while they're not there. If you've got like a vacant unit, and just having, a couple things to know. Did somebody open up the door? Like, can I just keep a camera inside even while there's nobody actually staying in the unit?
So, the question I ask now, I think I almost have the answer in my head because based on our initial other questions. Obviously, we know there's different level of smart technology you want to add to a property depending on the classification of the unit.
Yes.
Or the classification of the type of tenant you're going to have, whether it's long-term, short-term, or mid-term. But let's just focus on, it doesn't matter which one it is, LTR, MTR, STR. Where do you see the biggest mistakes made?
Where do I see the biggest mistakes made? Where do I see the biggest mistakes made? Honestly, I would say folks really, I guess, going for the convenience and going for those point products. And if you don't step back and take a holistic view of the technology that you want to integrate in the unit, no matter what it is, then you're just kind of purchasing point solutions as you need it. Oh, okay, I need a camera, let me pick this up. Oh, okay, I need a leak sensor, let me pick this up. Oh, I need this and that. And if you're not, in those instances, people aren't necessarily thinking like, oh, how do these integrate with one another? People assume, because these products are marketed as such, like, oh, it works with Google, it works with Alexa. The dirty little secret is that depending on the product, maybe this much of the functionality works with Alexa, maybe this much of the functionality works with Google, and you add to that as you're picking up these point products in a kind of disjointed manner, you're probably adding on subscription fees too. $6 a month here, okay, whatever. $20 a month here, okay, whatever. $5 a month here, okay, whatever. But after months and months and years, that starts to add up. And then people are looking like, oh, I'm $100 per month in per unit on this. How did I get here? So that's what I hear a lot of, and people trying to disentangle themselves from those subscription fees.
So where do you see smart automation directly impacting the rent premium, the occupancy, and the tenant retention?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think if you are, this is where, like, depending on your unit, especially if you're serving a very specific population. So I talk to a lot of folks who have like home care in their portfolios, or folks like real estate professionals who focus on 55 and up, like senior housing, things like that. So let's say even for like a vacation rental, if you want to be able to advertise, I have a fully accessible home modification, technology included vacation rental, you can probably command a higher per night cost and have a steadier stream of tenants and guests that want to stay in it, because wow, a fully accessible, somebody walking with a walker, somebody in a wheelchair, somebody with cognitive disabilities, this unit is welcoming to this population. So if you're thinking about it from who am I serving and how does this technology help, I think that's where you can really start to tap into being able to kind of sell those value adds and really speaking to the specific population at large.
So I also see this as a unique opportunity for property management, with small, mid-sized, large. How will this separate the property management companies that are not applying this versus the ones that are fully taking this in and putting their arms wrapped around it?
Yeah, so for the property managers who are really just like, how do I take control of my full portfolio? How do I know what's going on at all times? How can I know about things before my tenants tell me? This is for those property managers who are already thinking like this, are probably already kind of holistic view, like wide view thinkers in that way. And so that's kind of gonna force you to just take like a hard look, like even for my own business, when I take a hard look at what I'm doing from a holistic perspective, you start to, like, some of the knock-on effects start being, oh, you know what, this thing over here I've been doing and it's not working for me. Do I need to keep doing this? Maybe not. And then, oh, surprise, I save $100. And then once you start like wanting to integrate the technology and being able to have the ability to monitor and get alerts for what's going on in different areas of the property, I think it fosters just a more proactive mindset. And then at that point, this is the previous guest talking about wellness. This is probably going to help with your overall just like mental, how much time you're taking to think about it, because you know, okay, I'm going to get an alert when something happens. I don't have that cognitive worry of, okay, if there's a short leak or like a small, slow leak and my tenant doesn't tell me for 2 weeks, whereas if you have the leak sensors already there and the alert set up, you have the peace of mind that you're going to get these alerts. So depending on the scale that you're looking at, like from a property management perspective, integrating this technology in a thoughtful way can actually help with that cognitive load, with that worry, and it allows you to focus on other places.
Yeah, I think that from a property management perspective, I feel like it's hustle and flow, streamlined scale, all kind of at the same time. So do you see a shift coming from where homeowners and investors demand more localized, non-subscription based systems?
I think what I hear from folks is mostly around the subscription fees, because we're in an interesting time right now when people are really focusing on what's going into their pocket and, more importantly, what's coming out of it. I think the privacy first play ends up being kind of like the cherry on top for the tech nerds. The tech crew starts with privacy first, but in the real estate world, it's really going to be, how do I protect my operating income? How do I keep money from coming out of my pocket? And so our focus on subscription-free systems, that really kind of rings a bell or lights a light bulb for people.
See, from a lender perspective, being a nationwide direct private lender, I'm looking at it from a BRRRR strategist. How is it going to benefit me on a better amenity for the better tenant? Okay, and how I'll make that money back at the refinance. Okay, I'm not going to have to worry about it costing me anything, because it's going to be part of the initial construction renovation budget. From a flipper perspective, does that what level of smart technology will enhance the value of that property that much more at the sale? And that'll be caught, and that absorption will be in the construction budget as well, and you'll catch that money back. Tell me a little more about Serenity Smart Homes and what makes your approach different from the typical smart home provider.
Yeah, so Serenity Smart Homes was built out of a need that appeared in my own household. There's a couple different things, but I have an almost 7-year-old daughter. I do not post her picture to social media. When she was a baby, I knew I needed a baby monitor. I'm a huge nerd at heart. And I built a Raspberry Pi baby monitor because I said, I am not transmitting pictures of my baby to these people's servers. So that's kind of the first place of where that started. And then as time went on, my little mobile toddler opening up the refrigerator and just leaving it wide open, and I come downstairs and I'm like, how long's the refrigerator been open? Oh, it would have been nice to get an alert about that. And so between that, started adding on the lights and just seeing how it helped me in my own house and how it helped me and my daughter be able to manage on the day-to-day. So, for example, my daughter does really well with visual cues as opposed to audio cues. So I can set a thing in the house that says, would the lights start dimming at a certain time? Once the lights dim, she knows, okay, it's time to go upstairs in the tub. Wrangling her upstairs to get in the tub or shower is a whole thing. And so having a voice activated command, I'm not going to say it because it's actually going to turn on my shower, but I have a command that basically turns on the shower and the fan switch and everything, so that by the time I've corralled my kid upstairs, everything's already going. And so I think I come at it a little bit differently because I have that lived experience of myself being neurodivergent, my child being neurodivergent, having, seeing my grandparents, praise be to God, the late 80s, early 90s, so they've seen a lot of life, but also seeing them age and seeing how this technology can help. And so just having that lived experience, I think, brings more to the table than you might get from a typical AV installer.
So if you had to give me one piece of advice to our audience and myself, to a real estate investor, a homeowner, a real estate professional looking to future-proof their property, with smart technology, what would it be?
I would say really assess what the need is and what's the problem you're trying to solve. We have so much technology that's marketed to all of us on the day-to-day. So before you pick up everything that you want to get, really focus on the problem you're trying to solve. And then if you say, okay, I got this problem I'm trying to solve, how do I implement this from a tech perspective? Call me. No, but
that's a call to action. You have to have that.
Call me. And then we can help with what's going to make the most sense for your space, because there is so much out there, and it's easy to fall down these little rabbit holes, and the large corporations, they don't care as much as I do. And so, really just hone in on what's the problem you're trying to solve. And once you got that, give us a call and we'll go from there.
Point of contact, website,
yes,
email, phone number.
Great question.
When we get all that out there, make sure people know how to reach out.
Yeah, so my company name is Serenity Smart Homes. We're based in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Our website is serenitysmarthomesnj.com, and from there you can get to our consultation page, see our products, blog, projects, and get to all of our social media from there.
That's great. So I'm going to do a little mic drop. In a world where everything is becoming subscription-based, ownership might be the most valuable feature left, and I think this ties into what you're doing. Yeah,
really big on what you buy, you own. We're not going to buy to rent, right?
Yeah. Excellent. This is Joe Scorese at the Creative BRRRR Strategies Podcast, co-founder and co-host, nationwide direct private lender, providing education, networking, and strategy. And thank you for tuning in for another great episode of education with you, Ashley. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you soon again.